In this section, we will learn about what is Boolean, and then what is conditional, and then what is nested if and logical operators with some additional things. So before the class, it will be good if you set up your project for the class. This is why there are so many things happen. So what I mean by this one is in the PyCharm, okay, it will be good if you prepare your project. And then it is good if you create a different directory for each chapter. So it is to track your code easily. And then create a unique Python file for every example. And create a proper name with the identifier rule for better program development. So before this one, let me open the PyCharm. And then let me make a new directory here. New directory. So I will make a new chapter. Let's say this is chapter 03. Okay, because this is the week 3. So let me make the chapter 03. Or if you want to make like week 03, that's also fine. Now let's learn about Boolean. What is Boolean? When you have any condition, so we will use Boolean. So let's say there is one issue. If you still remember with the formula that we used last week for the radius, if you assign a negative value for radius, so let's say radius equals to -20, is it okay? Actually, if you give a negative value, the program will print an invalid result. The area will be negative, but actually there is no area with negative value. If the radius is negative, you do not want the program to compute the area. So how can you deal with this situation? So there is one data type, we call it Boolean data type. The word Boolean means something only related with true or false. So often in a program, you need to compare two values. So such as whether I is greater than J. So if I is higher than J, okay, then it is, yeah, you will do something. If not, then you will do other things. So there are 6 comparison operators. There are 6 comparison operators, or we also known as relational operators, that can be used to compare two values. And the result of the comparison is a Boolean value, whether it is true or false. So I put B equals to 1 greater than 2. The result is, so let me make a new file, Python file. Let me make testing here. So I have B equals to 1, which is higher than 2. The result is The result is false. Why? Because we know that 2 is greater than 1. If 1 is greater than 2, it is false. If we change this one to the symbol like this, then the result is true. Okay. So any condition will have only two values, whether it is true or false. And that is the Boolean. So there are 6 comparison operators. We can use less than, we can use less than or equal to, we can use greater than, we can use greater than or equal to, we use equal to, or we use not equal to. Okay. Now let's look at this one. Let me copy and paste this one, and I put it into the PyCharm. Let's suppose x equals to 5 and y equals to 8. So I want to check whether x equals to y. So equals, it is a kind of question or condition. So I want to check whether x equals to y or not. X not equal to y. So I want to check whether x equal or not. If this one means equal, this means equals or not. This one means that the x is less than 1. This one means x is greater than y. This one equals or less than. This one higher or higher or equal to. X equal y. It is false because x is 5 and y is 8. So it is not equal. 5 not equal y. Yes, it is true. X is less than y. It is true. X is greater than y. It is false. X less than equal y. It is true. And x higher equal y is false. Okay. So it's easy to understand this condition. Now, before we enter more complex problems, so let's learn about how to generate random numbers. We can use a random function. So random function means a function to generate any numbers in random. Random means any numbers we can use. There are two functions that we can use here. The first is rand in. It is a function to generate integer number. The integer number means any number which is without comma. But the random here is a function to generate a real number between 0 and 1. So let's see. I will use this one. So the first is we need to import. Import means we want to include one library in Python, and the library name is random. And then we are going to use the random function. This is random function. and we use the int. It is to generate a random number, and the random number will be integer. And I would like to get any number between 0 and 9. So any number between 0 and 9 will be generated. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. M equals to random. This is from this import, from the library, and we want to generate a random function. So this random function will generate a number between 0 and 1. So you can get the value 7 and 0.888 something. If you run again, now the value is 8 and 0.399. If you run again, then you will get another value 0.49 and so on. So every time you execute your code, the numbers will be different. Okay, so this is what we call as random number. Now, let's have a problem. Create a program to let a first grader practice addition. Do you know first grader? 일학년 초등학교. Okay. So if we know that the first grader, they are starting to learn mathematics, so they do not know, and they do not know many things about mathematics. So let's make a program so the first grader can practice addition. How? So the program randomly generates. Okay, we will use random function, generates two single digit integers. Single digit. What is it? Single digit means numbers between 0 until 9. Not more than 10. And we are going to generate 2. So it means there will be 2 functions to generate 0.9 and then another function to generate also 0 until 9. And let's say first is in the variable number 1 and the other is in the variable number 2. And display a question such as what is 7 plus 9 to the student. So let's suppose this is kind of random. Okay? So after the student types the answer, the program displays a message to indicate whether the answer is true or false. So if I give 7 plus 9, the student will answer. If the answer is 16, okay, it is true. But if the answer is 15, then it is false. Okay, how can we create this program? Now, let me just give you the solution. Okay. I put the name here, so you can use the name that I mentioned here, addition quiz01.py. So it is a file name that I created. So every name in your Python file will be unique. So let me make a new file, addition quiz01. Now, let's see. you know the import random. We are going to get the random library, and then I have number 1 and I have number 2. For this one, okay, I would like to make a random integer. You can change later between 0 until 99, and then the random number will be in the n1, comma, random dot random integer between 0 until 99. So this number will be in the n2. And then we are having one string. So I would like to make this string as a variable as what is strn1 plus strn2 and then question. So I put this one into the input. You still remember? In the input, we can put any string. So now I'm not creating the string inside the input, but I make a variable. So this variable will be here. So the variable will be in the input. And after that, I use eval. Okay, so what is eval? I will explain later. When I give this input, it means I would like to get the result from the user. So the result will be in this variable, res. So at the end, I would like to check whether this res equal to the n1 plus n2. Okay. Now, if you run, what is 16 plus 38? So the answer is 54. Okay, it is true. Okay. If you want to make it smaller, not until 99, then you can just change the random integer. Now, what is 2 plus 9? Oh, okay, 10. Oh, it is false. Okay. So using this simple program, we can make a kind of calculator program. So the eval function is to evaluate the specified expression. So here we have the eval. It is to evaluate this expression. If the expression is a legal Python statement, then it will be executed. Yeah, it depends. So we need to use this eval to make sure that your program can work properly or not. Now, there are some other kind of solution. This is an alternative solution. For example, I want to make it more challenging to the first grader. Not only 2 inputs, but let's try to give 3 inputs. Then again, I will import. Now I have n1, n2, and n3. And then this is a random. So the first random will go to n1, the second random will go to n2, and the third random will go to n3. Again, we can do something. It is a little bit different. So I will make addition quiz 02. Now I give an alternative. Instead of making a variable, the previous one, I make a variable s. So s a kind of string variable, and s will be in this input. But the second option, I just use print. What is str? Means we want to convert this number into string, plus what is this n2 convert to string, plus n3 convert to string. Now I would like to get the input from the users. So in this case, I'm not using eval, but I'm using int. You still remember int? So we want to change from the string into integer value. And then after that, I would like to print the strn1 plus strn2 plus strn3. And I'm going to print the result. So the result equals to n1 plus n2 plus n3. So if it is equal, then it is true. If it is not equal, then it is false. So what is 9 plus 7 plus 9? Okay, that have 25. Okay. 9 plus 7 plus 9 equals to 25, and it is true. I have another 3 plus 9 plus 8. So let's say I give 21. 3 plus 9 plus 8 equals to 21 is false. Okay. So whenever I give you a problem like this one, it means you can be you can give different solution. Okay, not only one solution like this, but the solution can be diverse. Okay, so that's about random numbers. Now we are going to learn more about the condition. What is condition, or I mentioned here conditional? And some of the literatures they mention as if then else. So Python has several types of selection. We call this is selection. So we will learn each of this one. We have one-way if statement. We have two-way if else statements. We have nested if statement. We have multi-way if else statement, and we have the conditional expressions. Okay, now let's do one by one. What is the meaning by each of this statement? If you still remember the flowchart, you still remember flowchart? In the flowchart, we have one symbol. What is it? The symbol? Represent decision. Pandan. Okay. So what we are going to design? In this decision, we will put the Boolean expression. So the Boolean expression, as you know, there will be two options. First is true and the other is false. If it is true, you can define what is the statement. If it is false, then you can check what will we do next. Now, in this case, I have an if, and the if will follow with the Boolean expression, and then it follows with the colon, and then we have the statement. So if the radius is higher or equal to 0. So if this condition is true, then calculate the area. Okay. Then we can put the flowchart like this one. Radius higher or equal to 0. If it is true, then we will do this one. What about if it is false? If it is false, then we will not execute this one. So this will not be executed if the condition is false. One-way statement, one-way if statement execute the statement if the condition is true. Okay. If it is false, then we do not do anything. Please remember, whenever you do with if I is higher than 0, and then we put this column, print I is positive. This is wrong. If I is higher than 0, column, print I is positive. This is correct. So what is the difference? The difference is the space, okay? The indentation. Here we have space. Here we have no space. So this is wrong. Whenever you use if, you need to put space for the next statement if the condition is true. So the statement must be indented at least one space to the right of the if keyword. Okay, so at least one. Each statement must be indented using the same number of spaces. So if you put 4, then everything should be also 4. So it goes for every of the statement after the if. For consistency, we indented 4 space in this course. So let's see. Maybe okay. Let me just show with this testing. Okay. At I equals to 5, and then if I is higher than 0, then positive. So whenever you press enter from this, okay, PyCharm will give you directly space. PyCharm will give you directly 4 spaces, this one. So it is to indicate that it is the statement when this condition is true. Okay. If you move this one to this, what happens? There is error. So this red color means error. And then if you move your mouse here, you will see that the error message is about indent expected. So you need to put the indentation. If you put one space, it is okay. But I think it is better to put 4 space. So if you have this, then I can print. Yeah, if the condition is true, then it is printed positive. But if the condition is false, then you will see nothing. Okay, we will not execute This condition. Okay, let's have a simple example. Write a program that prompts the user to enter an integer. So it means we will use input and then maybe we will use int. Okay. If the number is a multiple of 5, then print high 5. You know, multiple of 5. Multiple of 5 means number of 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and so on. If the number is divisible by 2, print high even. What is the meaning by divisible by 2? It is any number which is even. So we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and so on. Now, how can we make this program? Okay, so this is one of the solution. Let me just copy and paste this one. I will make the name as this one, simple if dim. So the variable number will be the input from the user, and we are going to evaluate the numbers. And if number it can be divided by 5, so let's have 5. If the number can be divided by 2, so let's write I E. Input a number 5. So we will print I 5 because 5 remainder 5 equals to 0. 5 can be divided by 5. What about if I put the number 10? So it is high if I 5 and high even. High 5 because this 10 can be divided by 5 and 10 can be divided by 2. Okay. You can change eval to int. So this is the same. Now, there's another problem. Determine whether a number is odd or even. What is odd? Odd is 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, and so on. Even is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and so on. Now, even number can be divided by 2. Okay. If any number that can be divided by 2, it is even. So, any number, let's say we have variable n, and if it is remainder 2 equals 0, then any number that can be divided by 2, it will be even. Now, how you can make the program? Okay, so I will just use this one. This is odd even problem. First, I would like to get the number as a variable, and then I'm going to get the user input. and I'm going to change the user input into integer. So if the number divided by 2 and the remaining is 0, then print that the number is an even number. Or else, we have else. What is else? Else means if the condition is false. If the condition is not true, we are going to this one, else. And it will print that it is an odd number. Okay. Input a number. So if the number is 10, oh, sorry. Input 10. Okay, 10 is an even number because 10 can be divided by 2. Now input any number, let's say 11. So 11 is an odd number because 11 cannot be divided by 2. So if it is not able to be divided by 2, it will go to F. So we will print this one. Okay. So we call this is a two-way if statement. Two-way if statement, it means we have the Boolean expression. If the condition is true, we will print this statement. If the condition is false, we go to the else and then we print the statement after else. So the flowchart will be something like this. We have the Boolean expression and there are two branches. The first is true and the second is false. If it is true, we will print this statement. If it is false, we will print this statement. And then at the end, it will merge into one and it goes to the next. So we have this example. Import math. Let me just put testing. Import math. Math is another library for the mathematics. So you can use this library. And let's say I'm using a radius equals to 5. So if the radius is higher or equal to 0, then we calculate this one. Radius multiplied by the radius multiplied by the, okay. In the math library, we have a function to get the pi. Pi is a constant. Pi is a number 3.14 something, and then it is, yeah, you don't need to write 3.14. We can just call from the math library. Then we can print the area of the circle is radius equals to this area. But if the radius is negative, then we can just print negative value. So if the radius is 5, then we will get this result. If we put this as negative, then we will give the result negative input. Okay. So this is the two if statement. The first is the true condition, and else it is for the false condition. Okay. That's a break. I will continue after the break.